but now I'm a man.
The song Mannish Boy, the performer, the legendary Muddy Waters. Certain kinds of music, like the blues of the Mississippi Delta, are so closely identified with the places they were born, it's hard to imagine hearing them performed anywhere else. But as Carol Marine of 60 Minutes is about to show us, great and authentic music not only can be performed a long way from home, it is, and sometimes for the most remarkable of reasons.
Welcome to the middle of America, literally, a place of pickup trucks, Willie Nelson, and white bread. Salina, Kansas, you might say, is at the crossroads of the country. It's a sleepy, practically all-white town, population about 42,000. And while you're more likely to hear Merle Haggard than Muddy Waters in Salina, listen closely and you'll hear the legends of the blues.
Baby, please have mercy on me.
They're the guys that Led Zeppelin played their songs. We just think that we ought to document these guys before it's too late, man, because, I mean, every day, you know, another one's dying.
Baby, please have mercy on me.
Back in 1996, Chad Kassem had a dream to record the old and sometimes forgotten men of the blues, men like George Wildchild Butler, playing their music their way.
Soon as I get broke, my baby don't want me no more, no more.
Born in the cotton fields of the Mississippi Delta, the blues came from hard times, stories often passed down from a generation of slaves. By the 1940s and 50s, as Southern blacks moved north, the blues became synonymous with cities like Chicago. In the early 60s, the music began to inspire young musicians like the Rolling Stones.
I just wanna make love to you, baby. Love to you, baby. Love to you, baby.
I went down to the crossroads, down on my knees.
And Eric Clapton.
Down to the crossroads, down on
It was that music, the very foundation of rock and roll, that Chad Kassem set out to preserve in the middle of America.
Well, yeah, look, music is music. Just like Louis Armstrong said, there's two types of music, good and bad.
How exactly does a Cajun from Lafayette, Louisiana end up in Salina, Kansas? For Chad Kassem, there wasn't much of a choice. 16 years ago, a Louisiana judge told him he had two alternatives: 4 years in jail on 16 felony counts, including major drug possession, or 18 months in drug treatment in Salina, Kansas, to try to sober up and maybe straighten out.
One of these days I'll call that judge and tell him that I really appreciate what he did.
Sober and straight for the first time in his adult life, Kassem began collecting records.
You buy 3, sell 2, buy 4, sell 3. You buy, sell, and trade. I just was buying, selling, and trading.
Soon he discovered he had replaced the booze with the blues.
To me, music is a natural high. You can get over and over again. You can put on a record and it'll make you cry. The emotions are so strong, you know, and to me, there's no better feeling than what good music can do for you, you know.
I'm walking by myself. I hope you understand. I just want to.
Still, there was one big hurdle to fulfilling his dream. Kassem needed to convince musicians to come to Kansas. And to do that, he called on this man.
Don't you think it would sound better just...
Jimmy D. Lane is a born and bred Chicago blues man.
Would mistreat you for my weight in gold.
His late father, Jimmy Rogers, was another Mississippi born and bred blues legend. When Kassem asked him to come to Kansas and be his music director, Jimmy D. Lane packed up his six-string and headed south to their new studio, a converted church.
I was thinking like everyone else, okay, it's going to be a little church, like in Little House on the Prairie, you know, a little wood floor and steeple. And
A couple of pews.
Right, you get a couple of pews, enough to put somebody, a couple of families in, you know. And I said, man, look at this place. And we came in and, wow, you said a church. He said, yeah, I said a church. I said, no, but this is a church. So it was cool.
Actually, it's the old First Christian Church built in the 1920s. What made it special was the church's near-perfect acoustics. If you hit a note in here, I'd know the difference between the acoustics of this church and someplace else?
Yes, of course. This room, you'll hear an echo. Not an echo, but you'll hear a resonance. You hear that ring out? Now, in a normal studio live room, it would sound dead. It would immediately die as soon as I hit it. You wouldn't hear that ring out.
Yeah,
Right.
you hear it trail out.
Right.
It was built in the beginning of the 1900s.
Chad Kassem finally had his studio, had his musicians,
Everybody's ready?
and he sprinkled it all with a little bit of Louisiana.
This crawfish etouffee now. This ain't from Kansas.
It's good.
This is the real stuff here.
I tell you, this is called the damage room.
Yeah, they did,
Let's get a little cayenne.
Yeah, there you go.
He not only feeds them when they're not recording, he listens to their stories.
The blues is the facts of life due to the human condition. I can sit down and be talking to you and see something going on in your life. I can write a song and sing the blues about it. Because I get that feeling.
But most important, Chad Kassem, these men say, gives them the respect they've earned. Bass player Bob Stroger.
He offered us honesty. He come and tell us, this is what it is. Don't make no big promises. Tell us this is what's going on. And we haven't had nobody to talk to us like that.
Drummer Sam Lay is in the Blues Hall of Fame.
But he's the only somebody I know that made any kind of effort to try to revive this stuff that we're doing.
You made me feel like I was the boy Joe. Said I never have to go.
Doesn't it seem ironic to you that for so many decades, the blues was regarded as the devil's music?
I guess, you know, because there was a lot of gospel going on in spirituals, and these people weren't singing the blues in church. That's why they regarded it as the devil's music.
You're doing the devil's music in a church.
And also the Salinas called the Crossroads of America, so the Crossroads is also a thing you'll hear a lot about when you're talking about the blues.
You got to do something, baby.
Those who go to listen to the blues notice something else. We went to hear Wild Child Butler play in Chicago. The audience that night was mostly white.
You can't get no cotton, oh, no corn. A coffee got modern down on the farm. You wouldn't go to school and get your education. Now you want to live on sturdily day. You got to do something, baby.
There's a reason for that, according to Jimmy D. Lane.
The white audience that supports blues, they're not ashamed to come and listen to My Baby Left Me. I'm down and out. I ain't got no money.
But a black listener to that same music?
They don't want to hear blues. It seems that I think it just reminds them of something that we want to forget. We want to forget the hard times, even though we're still going through them. I don't know what it's like to go down a row of corn, shucking corn as they call it, or picking cotton until my fingers are bleeding. You have to live it to have it.
And so each generation of musician, you think they lose?
Yeah, we get a little further and further away from that.
I'll pray a little prayer, Jim.
Yeah.
That's what's so important about what we're doing here. The people that we're recording Wild Child Butler has lived it. We got to recognize that, listen to it, understand what he was talking about.
And celebrate the music that...
Celebrate what those guys created.
It's the last generation of true bluesmen. They've lived hard lives. We just want to document as many as we can, you know, so that the whole world can see just how good they sound and how important they were in American history.